Hello, welcome back to the Live Reality Game Podcast. My name is Steven Stewart, and I'm here today for more Surviving Reelfoot First Fire coverage and deep dives. Today's going to be a little bit different. This is going to be part one of part two with our next guest, Lashay. So get excited because you get double feature with Lashay. But Lashay, how are you doing? Thank you for being here.
I'm so good. I'm so excited. I've been ready to unpack everything and just walk through it. So very glad to be here.
How has your kind of post game? It's been 2 to 3 weeks because I've been slow at getting the schedule, so it's been a bit. How has your recovery been?
It's been hard, The adjustment period is rough when people don't play these games, and then you come back and you're like on 10. You're trying to talk about it, like, oh my god, this person was blindsided there. They were lying. They're just like, what are you talking about? It's been a bit weird.
Well, I know you played Outlast before. Have you played any other games before Reelfoot?
No, just Outlast.
Okay, and so do you feel the processing this time was easier than Outlast or harder because you went further in this game and lasted longer?
I think it was harder simply due to the cast. I enjoyed everybody. Not to say I didn't enjoy them on Outlast, but this cast, it was hard to leave the game. And then, I don't know, just hard to be away from certain people that I made connections with.
And so you play Outlast last year. I just watched the episode, so we'll have to talk about that because it has an impact on this season, for better or worse. Talk about the decision to apply for Reelfoot.
That honestly was like a spur of the moment decision. That was like the game of games. You hear everybody talking about Reelfoot. So I'm just like, let me try it. I'm not gonna get cast for real.
You get cast.
I was nervous. I was like, it was crazy how nervous I was leading up to it, but I'm glad I did it.
Well, so you're feeling nervous. What did you do to prep or prepare for the game?
Honestly, I did nothing. I wanted to go in as genuine as possible. Like, this is the Lashay that you guys will see in the real world. I didn't want to I didn't want to put on too much of a show because I wanted to bond authentically and hope that carried me as far as it could. And I think it did.
Kind of, again, going back to Outlast, did you have any reflections or takeaways from that experience that you're like, I want to do something different this time? Or the answer was, just don't get swapped?
I definitely wanted to be more strategic. As you've seen in Outlast, I had 2 idols and then still went home. So that did not feel good.
Well, hey, you saved an ally, right? Like, that wasn't a waste of an idol, but you think the answer, I need to be more selfish and play these things on myself?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, saved her. I mean, she went way further than I did, but I love Jess. But I don't regret it. I just wish we could have figured something else out.
Jay was saying you've read a lot more books.
He's messy.
So Reelfoot arrives. You fly out to Tennessee. I guess who were you? Did you see anyone in? Did you carpool with anyone? Was there anyone in your lockdown room before the game began? Did that have any impact on your game, you feel?
No. I rode with Andrew, but we ended up unfortunately being on different tribes, and I almost bonded with him immediately. So I'm like, dude, we're locked in. We're gonna be here. So it was so hard for me, and he got voted out. So I'm like, we could have been something. We could have really did some moves in this game. So unfortunately not.
So once the game begins, you see the full cast. Are there any people you recognize? I know the answer, but I'm gonna let you say.
I recognize Jess, of course. Love her. And Trav. It was mixed feelings. I was so excited to see him, like, oh, another face. But then my stomach fell to my feet, like, oh shit, we're on the same tribe. Okay.
No, Trav. I mean, spoiler for Outlast. If you're not caught up on Outlast, apologies. You're gonna be spoiled like crazy for the most recent episodes. Trav votes you out in the swamp, right? He chooses Jess over you, votes you out. Had you two kind of come to terms with that, or that you're like we've never really discussed that since that game?
We had discussed that. I feel like we had a lengthy discussion, and honestly, it never quite clicked for me. Why? I understand what he told me, but I don't know. In my mind, it just didn't make sense. So it was kind of hurtful, and I did take it a little more extreme than I should have. So just coming into this game, my trust with him was like non-existent. Like, oh, you're gonna pick somebody else over me again this time. Like,
But looking at your tribe as a whole, you are on the Purple Kaname tribe. How did you feel about this group of people when you saw them?
it's crazy because me and Sam, I want to say, we look at each other almost immediately like, oh, we're stacked. Like our guys, I mean, look at them, look at our girls compared to the other tribe. No shade, like, oh, we have this in the bag, but then turns out we were definitely evenly matched. So guess we were just talking out our ass.
So you have this very long opening challenge. How was that for you?
Oh, it was so extreme. I mean, we had known each other all of 15 minutes. Now we're running, jumping through stuff, like eating stuff. It was just the craziest thing ever. But I do think it helped us to bond. Like, we came out that really strong. And then on top of us winning, we definitely needed that.
Did anyone stand out for you, good or bad, that challenge?
Oh, Isaiah did. I mean, he stood out to me almost immediately. And Brandon, they kind of emerged as leaders. So I'm like, I want to align with them too and put myself in a good spot.
So you win the challenge, you go back to your camp. How were those opening hours in the game? Did any important conversations happen?
No, I don't feel like they did, which was crazy to me because I knew that, we do have like a day or two where no one gets voted out, but it almost bothered me kind of like no one wanted to talk game. And I didn't want it to be like, okay, come day 3, God forbid we lose. And now everybody's just scrambling because nobody is trying to talk game. So, no, we kind of just all talked, all did camp stuff. That was it.
If we're going off of vibes, who like you kind of mentioned Isaiah already as a person who's like, oh, I like this guy. Who else kind of stood out to you? Or like, I think I want to talk with them at some point.
Oh, Brandon, of course. Like, I was immediately drawn to him. I feel like that's my best friend now outside of the game. But he was definitely like a workhorse. Fires, popping down, like he was just going nuts. So I'm like, hey B, like you need to talk. Like conversations are happening without you. I don't wanna have you left out. I immediately gravitated towards him. And I wanted to work with Janai as well.
I'm curious, what led you to gravitate towards Brandon?
Just his personality, like he was super easygoing. Like it was all smiles, all laughs, nothing seemed fake. Like, okay, I like him.
What were those initial? Did you and Trav own up that you knew each other, or did you kind of say, "Hey, we're gonna keep this in the down low"?
Okay, so I I was talking to who was it? Isaiah, Jerlyn, and maybe Sam. I don't remember who the last person was, but I was just like, hey, I did play a game with him. Do not trust him. He's shady. Yeah.
So by the end of the first day, how are you feeling?
I think I felt good. Nothing was happening as far as I knew. So I'm like, there's no reason to panic or, get frazzled. I felt okay. I didn't think I would be at the bottom, but I didn't think I was like this power player calling all the shots. At that point, I thought it was Isaiah. He was just connecting with everybody everywhere.
So we have to kind of talk about two of the twists this season. The first is when you arrive at camp, you see this cryptex. What'd you think about that?
Oh my gosh, I wanted to fucking start doing cartwheels. I'm like, dude, yes, like the game is started. I don't remember who picked it up, maybe Trav. And we were looking at it, and everybody was like, oh, we're going to agree to just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Like, be so for real. What are we talking about? But, you can't, like, stand out. I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. Almost immediately, people are going off to pee and whatnot, and they're looking at trees. They're looking at stuff. I'm like, oh, you guys are good. You guys are good. So, yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't open it. I wanted to, but I didn't.
Well, did you find any letters in the woods?
Isaiah quickly came and got me. He's like, come here. And I'm like a dummy. I'm like, Sam, come here. Whole time. I don't even think he wanted her over there. But I'm just like, come here. He's like, look in the tree. There's an A. Oh, no. I did find an I. I found an I.
And so you really wanted to open this then?
Oh, yeah. I figured it was an advantage or something. And obviously you want anything like that in this game. So I did want it.
When you learned it was a jar of candy, what were your thoughts?
I was maybe a little bit disappointed. But then the minute they said pick 4 other people, I'm like, okay, this is good. This will show me if like my vibe reader is correct and Isaiah will choose me, and it was right.
So Isaiah chose you, and who else did he choose?
Brandon and Sam. And at that point, I was like on cloud 9. The exact people I wanted to work with, he chose. I'm like, this is great.
Talk to me a bit about Sam, because Sam will vocally say she's in the bottom of your tribe for multiple rounds. I know like her relationship with Rob is important, but also seems you had a very key relationship with her as well. Can you tell me about that?
I actually off the bat liked Sam. It was nothing against Geraldine or Nina, but off the bat it just kind of like wasn't there, and they gravitated towards each other. But I didn't mind Sam's personality. She definitely is a bit like abrasive and in your face, but I enjoyed her. So off the bat, it was personal for me, and I wanted to work with her. I didn't want her to go anywhere.
You also learned as one of this opening twists that every player starts with 1/3 of an idol.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do about that? What were you thinking?
Oh my God, I was panicking. I was literally panicking. Like, this is so childish. The time I come out here, it's some crazy twist. What do you mean 1/3 of an idol? Like, this is gonna be so telling and so messy. Like, I don't want to do this, but I knew that if the time came that I would have to. So I'm like, you have to buckle down and now start like connecting with people.
Given you had 2 idols in Outlast, it's hard to be saying, well, now I only have 1/3 of an idol. It's a bit of a downgrade.
Yeah.
And so were you trying to like form a close trio that use their beads, or were you just thinking like this is gonna play like merge, not pre-merge, or swap, not pre-swap?
I was definitely thinking swap for sure. And I didn't make a trio just to like use their beads. I just really wanted to work with Isaiah and Brandon, and I knew that I could trust them almost immediately. And if they could trust me, had either one of them came to ask me for my bead, it was like a given. They were going to get it, because if I couldn't pull out the win, I wanted them to do so.
And if Trav asked you for a bead,
no.
Now, I know in Outlast the conditions of the game are pretty rough, right? It's a shorter game; it's 4 days, I believe, but like you don't really have anything to sleep on. So, how was that first night of sleep in Reelfoot?
For real, it was about the same. Like, we know what we're signing up for, so it was pretty shitty. Like, it was cold. It was really, really cold. I'm like, dude, I don't know if I can do this. Like, but I don't want to be a quitter, and I don't want my son to look at me and be like, mommy couldn't do it. So I toughed it out. But by the time I woke up, I'm like, oh, I feel good. This is a new day. Now it was like overbearingly hot. So
there's no winning in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Over the course of the second day, you have another couple of reward challenges, and it's been very back and forth between the Nada tribe and your Purple Kanane tribe. How are you feeling about that?
I was feeling a little nervous because, like I mentioned before, I'm like, oh, we're stacked. This is going to be just like a knockout season. It's going to be boring because we're just going to decimate them every chance we get. So the back and forth, like, oh, wow, this is going to be good. I'm going to have more chances of going home than I thought I would if we were just winning back to back. So, yeah, I was a bit nervous.
Over the second day, did you feel like there were starting to be more strategic conversations?
Maybe just slightly. I know that Isaiah wanted to lock something in, and so did I. So I was working to try to do so. I think I pretty much talked to everybody except for Geraldine, Nina. That was about it.
Was there anyone you're starting to be worried about?
Outside of Trav, maybe Nina. I knew that I wasn't close with her. I knew that we didn't have game talk. It didn't seem like she was interested. And I didn't want to like beat a dead horse and like keep having these conversations if she just wasn't interested in having them.
Were there any names being floated around early on?
No, not that I remember. That was the frustrating part. Like, hey, again, God forbid we do lose. Do we have a plan going on? So I'm like, now I'm panicking. It's got to be me. If no one's telling me a name, obviously you're the name. So I was like nervous as fuck, but yeah.
So you go into that first immunity challenge. This is the man down challenge. Ultimately, your tribe is going to win. Where were you in this challenge?
What was the man down challenge?
Where they carry someone on a stretcher and there's multiple parts.
Oh, I was with Nina, actually. We had the 2 tubes and the ball. At one point we seen Jay West and Allie, I want to say, pass us, but in that moment she definitely kept me really grounded. If it wasn't for her, I probably would have started just like panicking. She's like, look at me, we got this, go slow, and we ended up pulling it out. So definitely appreciative of her for that.
So you win that first challenge. You're not going to the first tribal council, but from what I've heard, and like Josh can iterate, the no need to panic motto was not your motto starting day 3. It sounds like the morning of day 3, people are kind of scrambling despite not having tribal council morning. Is that true?
It was. I'm like, okay, now it's game day. It's the start of the game. We need to be scrambling. I had got good advice from like a friend before going out here that if by the end of day 2 you don't have something locked in, you're behind. Because I guarantee you that there are talks being had, and if you're not a part of them, you're on the out. So I knew that I had to get with people I wanted to be with and try to lock something in.
So I have to ask, who'd you get advice from?
I got advice from Parker.
Okay, nice. So talk to me about that morning scramble. What were you trying to lock in?
In my mind, I wanted to lock in Isaiah, Brandon, maybe Sam, and Jerlyn, and myself.
Okay. And so were you just saying, hey, the 5 of us, or were you trying to push a name?
I just kept trying to feel people out more so, like, hey, do we have a name? I didn't really get any names, so it was like frustrating.
Talk to me a bit about Geraldine, because you haven't mentioned her yet, and she sounds like she's gonna be a key piece to this alliance you're building.
We didn't talk much at all. I think one personal conversation. She seemed cool, like as a person. I don't have anything negative to say about her, but I definitely could tell that Nina, she was close to. Isaiah, she was close to. So by extension, I'm like, if she's cool with Isaiah, she's cool with me. Push come to shove, I'd rather work with her than Nina. So this could work.
You haven't talked about Rob much at all. What were your impressions of him and this tribe?
It's so crazy because I watched his deep dive and I'm almost blown away because I felt like me and Rob talked so much, and I don't know what it was, maybe with him. But I felt like I could trust Rob. I really did. I thought that we were connecting. Like he said, we had talks about his boyfriend, my son. I even talked to him about something personal with my son's dad. So I really thought that we were there, but I just noticed that he was gravitating towards other people. So there was only so much that I could do to like foster that bond.
So you go into the second challenge, and this is hot pursuits. It doesn't really go very well for your tribe. Talk to me about this.
They team was so stacked with runners. It was almost laughable. Obviously not in the moment. It's not laughable because you're going to tribal council. So shit wasn't funny, but Juan is a machine. He is crazy. Our strategy was to have like the slower runners drop almost immediately, and then we're gonna try to book it. I told them, from what I remember, I'm like, that's not a good idea, guys. Pace yourselves because they have the runners. You're gonna be beat, but it happened so quickly. There was really no chance for us to recover in that moment.
And so now that you're going to your first tribal council,
Mm-hmm.
talk to me about the scramble. What's going on? Because I know things that started coming together that morning, but now you are actually voting someone out for the first time.
Again, going back to Rob's deep dive, I know that he said that I was never like a priority for him or he wasn't gunning for me. I don't remember who told me that it was, but I know at one point it was definitely Lashay, and I figured it was him and Trav in cahoots to where, oh my God, yes, it was Isaiah. He was like, he told me, if you vote Lashay, I'm not working with you. He had to like check him almost. Like that was like a plan that they wanted to get into motion, and I didn't understand because me and Trav had 5 billion talks at that point. Like, what is happening? I thought that we were locked in. We were gonna lock in, Trav. So I don't understand. So yeah.
Doesn't Trav like wake you up in the middle of the night at some point too to talk?
Okay, I'm making up a time because you don't know what time it is out there. But I want to say it was like 4:00 in the morning. It's pitch black. I get a tap and a whisper on my shoulder. Trav's like, "Come here, act like we're gonna take a shit." I'm like, "What?" Mind you, crushed in my eyes. I'm freezing. I don't really know what's going on. I'm like, okay. So we're stumbling back here, where everybody is defecating, and he's like, "We need to lock in a 4." I'm like, "Okay, who's the 4?" He's like, "I got Rob. Who do you have? Who's your number 1?" I'm like, "Right now, Isaiah." Good, that's great. He proceeds to fake pull down his pants, take his, number 2 to make it look realistic, and I'm just like, he's crazy. It's happening. The paranoia. You're in a good spot. You of all people don't need to be having these conversations. I lay back down. I kid you not. 30 seconds later, he has a new group off back there doing the same thing. That's kind of when I knew I was not in good with Trav.
Did you feel like he was playing he was playing the same way he played in Outlast?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you're hearing potentially your name get floated, but it's kind of shot down by Isaiah. What other names were you hearing?
That was it for me. I only heard myself, and that the decoy name was supposed to be Sam.
But then, but Janai ends up being the target.
Yeah, I think they ended up switching back to her because it was like, unfortunately, even though I love Janai down bad, like the safe vote. But I promise you, if they had their way, it would have been me the first round. So big props, Isaiah. Love you, my boy.
And because one thing I heard, like Janai wasn't very. You were talking about like how fast you start strategizing. Janai, it sounds like maybe started strategizing just after just in this moment before Tribal Council.
I promise you, in the walk to Tribal Council is the most I got out of Janai in terms of strategy talk. I begged this woman. I'm like, please, you have to. I told her so many times, like, you have to go talk to people. Like, you need to just do something. And then she was like, okay, I am. And then when I was telling her it was going to be me, because I had knew at that point, she's like, no, they didn't tell me that. Of course, babe, they're not going to tell you that. You're the target at this point. You haven't talked to anybody. They're not going to just bust out and tell you their master plan. So it was crazy.
A couple of comments from the audience. Josh saying he really enjoyed the side eye you gave him in the first merge challenge whenever you were slipping. And then Isaiah saying that he always has your back.
Love him. That's definitely my bestie too. Yeah, the first merge challenge, like Josh, his commentary. I mean, it would be good like for TV, but that shit really stresses you out while you're doing it. He kept saying, and Lashay with another slip. My hands are already like moist with sweat. Stuff is tearing my legs up, biting me. Then I'm like, I know all eyes are on me. Everybody can see or hear this thing slipping. It was just really hard.
So the Janai vote ends up being an 8-1 vote. Anything else about that vote you want to talk about?
No, I mean, that was probably the hardest one for me. Like now, sitting back with it, because I feel like she really trusted me and I really trusted her. But in my heart, I knew that there was nothing I could do to save her at that point. They were so dead set on her.
Was this the best first boot for your game though?
No, absolutely not. No, the best first boot would have been probably Sam, because she told Rob right before Tribal Council. She told me that she told him about the trap vote. So there was no way in his mind, or at least I thought, that he was going to come back and be like, oh, I want to work with Lashay 10 times. Like, why would you do that? You didn't have to do that.
So, Perfect World, Sam goes first, and then is it still Trav, then Nina?
Yeah.
And then who goes out? And then who would be the fourth boot from the tribe in the Perfect Worlds?
Rob. Lord have mercy. They can tell you when I say it was like a 20-minute conversation. I was talking to Brandon and Isaiah, and I think even Sam. I'm like begging, like, y'all, this man has gunned for me 2 rounds in a row. Why are we doing this? He's a shield. He's gonna be a shield until he's not a shield, baby. Like, now what happens when he starts winning immunities and we can't get him out? And it was like, just trust us. I'm like, I really trust these people. I'm gonna work with them. But look what happened. Hate to say I told you so, but god damn it, I told you so.
So you win your next immunity challenge. So you have a little bit of a breather. And then you have Sumo at Sea. Who'd you go up against in this?
I went against Aliana at first. Dude, we're sitting there. And I'm like, I know for a fact they're going to put her up against me. I know it. So I'm just trying to mentally prepare myself because I can't swim. So I'm already terrified of getting on this platform. I think I was more scared of the, not even I think, I was more scared of the water than Aliana. So I'm just trying to like, please don't go in this water. Hyping myself up. 2 seconds later, I'm flipping over the platform into the water. So there's that. And then I went against Allison, and I end up winning that point.
Okay. So well, one for two is not bad at all in a challenge like that.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it doesn't carry your team, and so you are going to your second tribal council. How are you feeling at this moment?
I was feeling nervous because right before the Janai tribal council, Trav pulls me to the side. He has like this mafia voice going on. He goes, I'm sorry, Lashay. Or no, this is right before his. He goes, I'm sorry, Lashay. There's not much I can do to save you. Like, it's going to be you. Like, he was just doing me some grand favor and just like comforting me. So I'm just like, dude, get away from me. Like, stop talking to me. But at that point, I felt like he was in good with everybody, that it was going to be me. So I was nervous going into it.
So even before this immunity challenge, were you concerned that like I know my name is out there and I'll need to do something about it, or is that something that kind of came out in the strategy before tribal council that your name is out there?
Oh, no, it's always a worry. The minute that you hear it one time, like, I didn't even know why I was on anyone's radar. So I'm like, oh, God, I'm going to have to do some work when we get back from here to just, like, make sure that it's not me this time.
Yeah, so you lose the challenge, you get back to camp. What do you do?
I immediately go to Isaiah. I immediately talked to Brandon as well. He was asking me what I wanted to do. He's like, I'm with you. And I'm like, vice versa, my boy. Whatever you say, I'm down with. So he's like trying to throw out a name. And I think at that time I was pushing Nina for real because the chats that I had with Trav, I thought they were good. I I hopped and skipped pretty much over to Isaiah. I'm like, we're good. Like, I think he's good with us. He's like, oh my God, this is great. We're good. No, we're not good. I don't. That's what I'm saying. He is so frustrating to work with because you really never know what's going on with him. So at
So
that point,
it felt like you'd have a good conversation, a bad conversation, a good conversation, a bad conversation. It felt like it was just like constantly oscillating between the two of you.
Isaiah had to. Oh my God, I don't really know where I would be without Isaiah for real. Like, really, I owe him a big part of my game. He had to like convince Trav to come up to talk to me. At one point, Trav was like, "Hey, can you mend the bond between me and Lashay?" He's like, "Dude, no, go talk to her yourself. What are you talking about?" It was just.
Oh, and then the screen went black. Oh no. Oh, bear with me for a moment as I figure out what's going on. Maybe a phone call happens. That maybe something like that took her off. But yeah, I guess I will fill the void as we wait. I know one of the key questions from Jay is like, how did Lashay end up voting for Rob over Allison? Definitely, we'll get to the $1,500 question. All right. Leave the studio and come back in. All right. Let's see if that works. All right. Let's see if kicking her solves the problem. You're right, Juan. I need to just have that scene of the Nada Cabana, like just to put in the background while there are stream issues. That I can probably find that and then put that there. All right, let's see. Yeah, re-enter. Catch some rays and catch some bays. I mean, gosh, I'm looking forward to the episode to kind of get the full infomercial feel for the Inada Cabana. Also, way better alliteration than anything Kanane came up with, I think.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. She's back.
Okay, we're back.
What time do you have to leave, by the way?
I actually just got a text.
Yeah. So we can keep going. We can bounce and continue this another day.
Yeah, can we do that?
Okay, so thank you everyone for joining in for part 1 of Lashay's game. We will pick up where we left off with the trap boot when we talk next time. Thank you all for your patience and get excited because there's more content coming. I'll be talking to Brandon on Friday, Chad on Saturday, Allison next Tuesday. I think I'll get Deborah next week as well. And Lashay, we will find a time to make it work.
Okay, bye everybody.
All right, take care everyone.